Asante in poetry recitals and in drama and traditional drumming and dancing. We want you all to relax and enjoy yourselves this evening. I have the singular honor to invite the Catholic chaplain, Reverend Father Dr. Peter Demensa, to say the opening prayer.
May I respectfully invite you to rise for the opening prayer. Almighty God, Creator, Sustainer of our lives, you have brought us to the close of another day, and we know it is due to your goodness, to your graciousness. We want to thank you and praise you. We thank you for bringing us together this evening to continue the celebration of the 20th anniversary of Otumfuo. We dedicate this night to the culture of your people. We pray that you be with us, guide us, help us to go through this program successfully so that our culture will be portrayed for us always to guide us in all that we do. This and many more we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Please take your seats. Having said the opening prayer, we'll take our opening remarks from our guest of honor this evening, Nana Otumfuo Jabehine of Asante. Shall we please have the light on the stage? Please, light. Nana Otumfuo was formerly chairman of this university's council. So he's come back to his own, and therefore we are in safe hands. I will invite Ejako and his group to play a small interlude to welcome our guest of honor this evening. Ejako and the Adedem group. We are welcoming Otumfuo with Ejako. With a round of applause, shall we please welcome Nana Otumfuo.
Nana, Chairman of the University Council, my very good friend, Nana, Ambassador Nana Ifapinting, Nananum, Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Provost of Colleges, Heads of Departments, Senior Members, Senior Engineer Staff, fellow students, the press and the media, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Coming back to this great university always gives me a feeling of nostalgia, as KNUST, at the time I entered it was UST, was my last port of call before I entered the real world of business, traditional governance, traditional politics, national politics, etc., etc. Some 50 years ago, to be exact, in 1969, when I left this university. It's not long ago, don't be worried. Some 35 years later, I was invited to serve my alma mater when I was appointed as chairman of the KNUST Council in 2004 for a 4-year term. I must recollect that one of the landmarks of my tenure as chairman was the historic appointment of the first non-head of state of the Republic of Ghana, as had been the custom, to be Chancellor of KNUST. On the 25th of March, 2006, Otumfuo, Osei Tutu II, Asantehene, was installed Chancellor of KNUST in this very hall amid traditional pomp and circumstance. The services that Otumfuo has rendered the university over the past 13 years uniquely qualify him to be recognized by the university through the institution of a week-long Chancellor's Week celebration as part of the 20th anniversary of Otumfuo's coronation as Asantehene. I find the inclusion of an Abakosem night in the week-long program as peculiarly appropriate, as we can only make meaningful progress and advancement as a people only when we are totally conversant with our past. It was for this reason that oral history and traditions were consciously transmitted by our forebears to the latter generations by word of mouth, as traditional society lacked the means of writing and, for that matter, documentation. The Asante expression, Titi Eka Asumu, means that the past resides in the years. This was synonymous with history. These days, we refer to Titi Eka Asumu as Titi Kaso. So when you hear somebody saying Titi Kaso, or say, where the Titi Kaso pa, it means that the person is quoting from oral history and oral traditions. Titi Eka Asum, the past resides in the year and is transmitted through the mouth. I have no doubt at all that at the end of the proceedings tonight, we would have all been treated to a delicious menu of Asante history and culture, and thereby enable us the better to plot our future from the perspectives of our rich historical past. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nana Otumfuo. Now the way is clear for us to begin proceedings. This night we are here for Abakosem of the Asante people in storytelling, in poetry recital, and in drama. The first dance we're going to have is called Shichi. It's going to be performed by CCAST, Center for Cultural and African Studies of the KNUST. They are here to tell us how this dance is displayed. Usually, it is an Asante dance among the young people who, in the twilight, will go out and be flirting. And therefore, when you see flirting in the music and dance, don't be surprised. It's supposed to surprise you. On this note, I invite CCAST to come. Even though this is performed by the Asante, it is also prevalent in other Akan communities. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome CCAST dancing to Shichi.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They have to change. No, when they finish, you say sorry. That's Sandra.
So let them go. Tell them.
Sanga. Yes. It has
entete. Finsia, mensia, shia, semensia. Mensia, shia, aquensia. Te ya moma yen freinshira, inshira. Mieni monyam, etwa ne ho ehia. Didi moa. Mi ebehia oba ya santoa. Nana hema. Ono na kupuduro. Eye hu chen atuduro. Emra na imrantie edwane akose buom se akrantie. Osori ginai. Tiaya moma yema no amo. Ampa edikanfo ayebi ama na bedru samre. Tiaya da sebre yema obrebreo. Wa wosue ne wabre na woma adiden fichire dabre. Obrempon wona woso na wokron. Ti se yetwa ye kompo hwe ye chiton. Onyuma pamu no ompon. Ti ya ye hu se yemfa won hye akira na yensi wa konkon. Ejapaye. Ye hwe wo papaya. Ye hu se yenyi apaye ana yemmo mpaye. Na da yenyi waye. Eni kwan se ye ha ye ni ti se petuo ansa na ye hu impuntuo. Unyansa a ensa eni wa futuo. Aba ya bra bom emra ye ne wo kọ akwantue. Otumfuo odefo osagefo nana ye ma mo pia. Medas.
Osei ayebio nana mo mana mo. Otumfuo ayebio mo mana mo. Otumfuo ayebio.
Nanano momayama wadmamu abraya boy sambako asama wadumno. Since it is Abakosem and Asante night, I will not be out of place if I intersperse it with Chi. I think I'll be permitted. Now we'll welcome seekers again as they come to perform Shichi, the social dance among the young of Asante, which is also found in other Akan communities. Shall we put our hands together and welcome seekers as they perform Shichi? Another round of applause for them. Some way of looking for a lover in those days. Those of us who were in the village in those days, this is how we went out looking for lovers. I'm sure our young ones today, it marvels you to see how it is done. All you know is technology, WhatsApping, and then talking on telephone. I'm sure the older ones here, they've all gone through this before. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we are enjoying ourselves. Shall we give seekers another round of applause? We are now getting ready to listen to some poetry recitals, and we are privileged to have our English department in our midst, and together with seekers, they are going to treat us to some recitals. Please don't look on the stage, just open your ears and you hear them. We shall now invite seekers at the Department of English. With a round of applause, shall we welcome them?
Otumfuo Tutu the second, the great king of the Ashanti kingdom, the mighty tree of ancient origin, rooted in the shrine of deity. Your countless branches provide shelter for benighted wandering birds. You are a man of wisdom. Your subjects affectionately call you King Solomon. You are a man of power and fortitude, more than Hercules of classical mythology. Your rulership transcends the boundaries of Ghana into the wide world. In the north, south, east, and west, your reign is seen and felt. Your stool name, Otumfuo, inspires fear and respect.
Asantia mamre, ni amani crow. The Chancellor of the famous citadel of higher learning, Otumfuo, the killer of hunger, killer of ignorance, killer of disease, killer of injustice, home for the homeless. The slender arm full of kindness. Those who pay homage and allegiance to your office will continue to stay refreshed. Otumfuo, the rover, whose footprints are on all paths. You are the embodiment of all these accolades. And therefore, as you celebrate your 20th anniversary of your ascension onto the great Asante Stool, the entire nation, particularly Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, say to you, you are Krobia Asante Kotokohene. Otumfuo Osei Tutu the second. You are. Well done. Well done, Nana. Moniyo, you deserve your appellations. Otumfuo, yesre onyankopon se oma unyiniche. No ahini entumpon frine kopim wiasierie.
You are thick forest that cannot be cultivated. Invincible porcupine, that's one, shoots in vain. Leopard that defends your subjects. The unifier that welds all tribes to one nation. Flood that cannot be impeded. Ocean that cannot be exhausted. King Solomon, who is imbued with extraordinary wisdom. Fame that never wanes. Wealth that generates infinite power. You are Krobia Asante Kotokohene. Otumfuo Osei Tutu the second.
He is the one.
He who is ever great.
He who is master of masters.
He who wins all the battles.
He, the timpani of whose drum thunders beyond valleys and ridges.
The strong crocodile that dwells in waters.
He that comes out of water with a squirrel in his mouth.
The unconquerable porcupine which shoots and wastes our bullets.
He is Krobia Asante Kotokohene Otumfuo.
Otumfuo Osei Tutu the second.
You are worthy of praise.
You are worthy of praise. You are worthy of praise. Nobody bypasses the thumb and ties a knot. Nobody attempts to shake a tree with a strong buttress. Anyone who shakes the king shakes himself. A wine tapper cannot tap wine from the coconut tree. Fact is fact, and the truth is immutable. It is the Almighty God who created the universe, who has made you king. The great and formidable one. The great river that floods in the dry season. Ahead of you, there is wealth. Behind you, there is wealth. To your left, there is fertile land. To your right, gold abounds. Otikokoswo. Thanks to your capacious leaves, those who come to you will not only get shelter, but they will all find within you cold water to refresh their thirst. You are Krobia Asante Kotokohene. Otumfuo Osei Tutu the second. Oti krewiri ni brewiri so. Yedamwase. We are from the Department of English, KNUST, and the poem was written by Nana Ewa Dati and was directed by Mrs. Patricia. Many thanks for your audience.
Thank you very much, Department of English. We'll conclude this session with a dance movement by Seacast entitled Ya Santua. We are all aware that in 1901, the famous Nade Ya Santua of Ejisu led the Asante army to fight against the British. Now these young people are going to depict the movements and the postures of the war. We bring you history from 1901. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Seekers to dance to Ya Santua.
I introduce the play shortly, just a general, because it's not fact. It's a mix of fact and fiction, and then it becomes a story.
Indeed, it is better that these Ya Santua women left the stage early. They were getting tired. But they did well. initially they were powerful, like the famous Yasantua, when she made all men silent. Thank you very much, Yasantua. Shall we give another round of applause, please? We are coming to the climax of this evening's meeting when we see a play by Dr. Osei Ajiman's theater group. They are here tonight to treat us to the story of Aikwe Ama's The Healers. I will invite Dr. Akwe Jackson to come and introduce the play. Shall we welcome Dr. Akwe Jackson?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Great Hall of KNUST. What do you get when you mix facts with fiction? You probably get a legend. Legends may be true, they may not be true, but whatever they are, they teach us something of whom we are, and they also help us to find our future. Aikwe Ama wrote The Healers as a novel. It looks at the history of Asante, particularly at the fall of Asante, and probably at the beginning of modern Asante. Dr. Ajiman Osei has taken Aikwe Ama's novel and he has interpreted it and adapted it for the stage. There are views that Aikwe Ama holds about disunity and how it becomes a disease of a people. How can a scattered people be brought back together? It's probably in the hands of those whose duty it is to heal the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the healers. Thank you.
Is this drama? Too long away. Jesus Christ.
Odomankuma bwado. Odomankuma bwade. Bor bwade. Obinkuma nanse.
Ikumanase oman babo. Ikumanase oman babo.
Odomankuma bwado. Odomankuma bwade. Bor bwade. Obinkuma nanse.
Ikumanase oman babo. Ikumanase oman babo.
Ya mo bro nyine nyehu.
Ya mo bro ni rekwa wankwe.
Ya mo bro nyina swate.
Ya mo bro ni rekwa wankwe.
Obawe ya womonwe. Obape ya womonpe. You have to decline. Akakademe tokrubi no dawe.
In the 20th year of his life, a young man found himself at the center of strange, extraordinary events. Someone was murdered, a youth exactly the same age as himself. The killing was done in a particularly bloody, brutal way. Those who saw the victim's body agreed on one thing. The murderer acted from a fierce, passionate motive. The kind of violent motive springing out of jealousy, made hotter by pure vindictive hate.
It seemed there were no living witnesses to the murder. The victim was the heir in the house of power at Eswano, a prince named Apia. Those who were in a position to know said he was destined to inherit not only old power, but far more importantly, the possibility of fantastic wealth.
Murdered.
Among those that came to the scene, that in some mysterious that spoke from a more bitter experience, something they said that whoever young prince had said that also.
Soon enough, the harsh certainty of the experienced ones scattered the hopeful wishes of the hesitant ones. Only two questions remained. How had the double crime been committed? And above all, by whom? In the absence of real knowledge, suspicion became the guide to thought. Strange rumors flew fast and free. Some were light and wild, so light and wild that disappeared as quickly as they were uttered.
Their own incredible speed threw them beyond the reach of even the most credulous minds. But still, heavier rumors remained, turning round and round within easy reach. Speculations turned them into a circling whirlpool, and skillful insinuations found a quiet, unsuspecting youth and placed him at the center of this dangerous speeding vortex of suspicion. His name was Densu.
So in the just when he saw the time perfect to plan his life, he was forced to open his mind to the death of the prince appeared. The presumed death of the princess, the Araba Jesiwa, and the impending death, if he found to fly free from the of himself.
Between Insunyi and Insube lay a wide outstrip of land below Israno, cut off as if deliberately from other surrounding land. No one farmed it, though it was fertile, being river soil. You could walk there in the early morning, lost in a quiet dream from the future. Or you could sit there in the total stillness of an afternoon, yellow with sunlight. You could sit there thinking of the past and present. Or you could run as fast as your desire had strength to carry you and never feel a stone's harshness underfoot.
This was the field of rituals. Here, the people of Iswano come at the end of every chosen year for the ritual of remembrance. Here on the grass, the young group of people moving on to manhood will run races and play games of great strength and skill.
The games had a kind of power over Densu. He had worked. The games fascinated him, and yet, in spite of this fascination, something about them disturbed him. In time, this something made it impossible for him to look forward to the coming time with clear, pure, passionate enthusiasm of youth.
Before the young man's 14th year, this something had not been definite. But in his 14th year, it had grown into a question agitating his mind. The question started like a spark in his head. It became a light, small but sharp, steady, insistent. What were these games for?
The judge, in a loud voice, called the competitors to come to him.
Kofi Antubam, Anan, Kwakusipi, Yao Petu, Kwabnajan, Densu, Apia, Kwabnampa. First, here are the rules governing the game of wrestling. To win, a fighter would have to put his opponent down in 3 clean falls. You can show a sign of conceding defeat with an arm stretched, the index finger pointing to the sky. A victor must release his opponent the moment he makes that sign. Continuing beyond that point would only damage the loser. I suppose the rules don't prevent you from losing this way. What is it? Densu, are you afraid? Kwakusipi! Yao Batu! Kwakusipi fights Yao Batu! Fight! Is the winner! Kofi and Tubam! Pablampa! Kofi and Tubam fight! Lampa! Fight! Is the winner. Now the third bout. Kwabuntu. Anan. Hey. Buntu against Anan. Fight.
You shouldn't have done that.
I shouldn't have done what?
Why did you refuse to fight?
There is no reason I should want to fight.
There's always a reason to fight. To beat the other fellow.
There is no reason I should want to be the other fellow.
See, everyone likes to win. But anyway, I didn't come to talk about winners or losers. Hey, I came to talk to you about something else entirely. I've had visitors from Cape Coast. Important men. What they had to say concerns you. I would have to talk to you in complete privacy.
Court affairs.
Do not interest you, yes. But I am talking about something more than the business of the court here at Eswano. Don't make up your mind before you get to know what it is. That is a fool's way of doing things. Your future does interest you, right? Mm-hmm. Come to my house this evening.
When?
As soon as you finish it. Let him go!
Is it painful?
No. The fool was about to tear my head off.
He wanted to win.
You could have done that without measuring me.
I doubt it. Buntui has a huge body and such a tiny brain to control it.
Beginning to hurt now. I feel fine. I may not need any medicine after all. I wonder who won the wrestling championship in the end.
We can find out.
They found out it was Antubam who had won the wrestling championship. Apia had been expected to win, but something strange had happened to him also.
When Densu knocked on Abebio's door, it was opened immediately. Abebio did not waste time. He asked Densu to sit. And then he took a stool and sat an arm's length away from him, watching the door.
The king is old. Very old.
I know that.
Yes, but you do not know what it means. It means the time has come to see a reasonable succession.
Affairs of the court
do not interest you. Yes, you have already told me that. And your father, before you, sang the same song. Blood is amazing. Oh. How the son talks of the father as if he had lived for him to imitate. And he never even met him. Look, you are no longer a child. You are a man. And I am talking to you about those things that make a man a man. Look, Densu, I will not hide truth under riddles. I am talking to you about power. The king does no longer belong with the living. We are talking about succession.
Apia is the heir.
Perhaps. Only perhaps. You see, Densu, there is a problem I haven't been able to talk to you about. But are you willing to listen? See, the world has changed in some ways people do not yet understand. And those who are born to rule must understand all these changes.
You don't think Apia understands them?
Apia doesn't want to understand them.
What are these changes?
First, the whites. Apia still calls them strangers, visitors.
Isn't that what they are?
Not now. Not after so many generations. Look, the first of them came to the coast 4 centuries ago. Now all power belongs to them. Whoever doesn't know this is still a child. And that is what Apia is, a child.
I'm the same age.
Oh, yes. But you are willing to grow, to understand.
To understand what?
Look, there is a great change coming in this land. The whites have decided that. And what the whites have decided is certain. I have been to Cape Coast, and I know. I have met the whites. I know them. I know them like my own brothers. I have intimate friends who are intimate friends with the white there. The whites have decided. And what the whites have decided is... That is how I happen to have eyes that can see something of the future coming. I know this. The whites have decided it's time they took full control of this land. The whites have decided. And what the whites have decided is that not just the coast, the whole land from the seas to the forest of the Asante and beyond, right up the dry Moshi grassland. The whites have decided. And what the whites have decided. These are big changes, they do not happen in every generation. Those on the right side of the big changes become the big. Those stupid enough to place themselves against such big changes, of course they get crushed into pieces. If they survive the changes. You are intelligent. That we all know. You have courage. That is why I am talking to you about all these things. Eh?
There's something that I don't understand. Have you spoken to Apia of these changes you speak
What
of?
if I have?
It would only seem natural to talk to him. Apia is the heir after all, and I have nothing to do with the succession.
Well, for your information, I have already spoken to Apia, and I have explained everything to him. At least he was patient enough to listen to what I had to say to the end.
I am listening.
Look, the whites are going to control this land as surely as your father is dead. But they cannot control the whole land without help from people they trust. Black people they trust. Power comes from work, a lot of work. There is going to be fighting, war. We shall have to help the whites by finding fighters fight for them here and everywhere else. we shall also have to help them by finding carriers for the things the fighters need and for the white officers. The whites will want to buy for the soldiers. They will need laborers to build roads, don't you see? Once we begin to work with them, we put ourselves on the road to power. It is a road without end. That is the choice before us. I, myself, have already chosen. What I am doing now is inviting you to be on the same side, eh?
And you say you've told Apia all this.
I have.
You invited him in the same way.
I did.
What was his answer?
He refused. Just like that. Like a big fool, he refused.
Did he give reason?
Oh, I knew of his reason before he even talked of them. It all comes from his mother. His mother worships that lunatic healer, that homeless, wifeless wretch that lives in the eastern forest. The woman, Araba Jesiwa, has forever been taking the prince to visit this mad healer, Downfall. And this Downfall has filled the woman's head with that foolish talk of his against the whites. Would you believe it? This mad healer calls those who work with the whites dogs. Dogs, I tell you, dogs. Is that a name for human beings?
So Apia doesn't want to work for the whites.
The prince is out of his mind. His brain has been poisoned. He says a king should work for all black people, to bring all black people together. The boy's mind has been poisoned by the healer. Look, he says he doesn't know that should some catastrophe happen, and they bring all black people together, there will be no kings. Kings belong to their tribes. Apia doesn't know this.
Apia is the heir. If you want his help, you should be able to persuade him.
Densu, do I look like such a fool to you? Look, a wise man knows those who are open to persuasion. I am no fool. I cannot persuade Apia against his own stubborn foolishness. All I see now is that he wants to stand against a force too powerful for him. He is asking to be destroyed. Look, I am not talking to you about any distant future. I am talking to you about the present. It is necessary to put someone else in Apia's position. The position is more important than any other person. I repeat, it is necessary to put someone else in Apia's position. Hey, have you seen those guns the white men have? Those really big guns. Not the small rifles men carry on their shoulders here. Hey, let me tell you, nothing will ever make me, Abebio, stand against those big guns. My position is firmly beside whoever possesses such powerful weapon. Apia doesn't want to understand this.
Eja Abebio, I cannot be of help to you.
And why not?
You know my reason. Oh. The work you talk of isn't what I want to do.
Look, Densu, don't be hasty with me, eh? Don't be hasty with me. This is very important, eh? You sleep over it if you need time to realize what is good for you, eh? Sleep days, weeks, months over it if you need time to realize what is good for you. But just remember this while you sleep, that in this world, there are those who thrive and there are those who don't. Those who thrive because they respect power. They know where it comes from, and they take care to place themselves by it, never against it. You are young. Nature has already favored you more than it has favored all else of your age. You have strength of body. You have strength of mind. You belong by nature with those who thrive. Hey, don't be hasty with me. Think about it, okay? Ha! That's it. Oh.
Sunday, the first day, was the day for the wrestling championship. Monday was the day set aside for Wari, a game of mental skill and not physical strength. Apia lost to Densu in the final bout of mental prowess. Densu won the Wari championship. Tuesday was the day for the short races. Apia won in each of the races.
Wednesday was the day for the longer races. It was Densu's day. The way he ran, it was clear his movement through the air was a joy to him. He leapt. So Densu won the longer races.
Chop. Congratulations. Hey, I need to speak to you again. It is very catching. Densu, you didn't expect me to call you again so soon, but I had to. Things have changed. I thought we had more time, but we don't. Things have moved so fast at Cape Coast that we've all been taken by surprise. But we needn't allow events to take us behind. Do you know what happened?
No. In the beginning, Abebio had talked like a man rather unsure of his grounds. He talked out of breath in a hesitant manner that seemed strange indeed with him. But now, as if he had finally decided to go the course he had been hesitant to follow, his tone grew crisp.
You have to decide now.
I have to decide what?
I'll tell you. If the kingship of Esuano were offered to you, if power came your way, would you be ready for it?
That is not a serious question.
Never mind about its seriousness. They are those who have power to make kings and make them. They would like to know now if they brought power your way. Would you have the courage to hold it? Do not exasperate me. We were born long before you. We don't need you to tell us.
Ejabebio, you know my answer.
No, Jesu, I do not know your answer.
I want to be left alone.
You refuse the offer.
May I go now?
Come back, Jesu. Look, this is very important. This is not a simple matter.
What isn't a simple matter?
What you are involved in now.
I am not involved in anything.
Oh, but you are. You are involved. Yes, very much involved. And it will not help you to seek to deny it at this point. No, you cannot, Densu. You cannot just walk away from the people after they have bared out their souls to you and revealed their secrets to you. Hey, there is a mutual bond of protection between you and whoever that reveals himself to you. You need to protect him, and he will in turn protect you. If not, you are walking away from a man after knowing all that he has revealed to you about his naked soul, about his ambition. And the knowledge you have now is like a knife in your hand. Don't you see?
Are you saying I would want to use what you've told me against you?
I have nothing to say regarding what you want to do or what you do not want to do. I am saying something about what you must do now that you know what you do know.
What is it that I must do?
First, stop dreaming idle dreams. Next, take your responsibilities. When power is offered to you, it means that the time has come for you to stop being a child and become a man.
Doesn't it matter what I've told you before?
Doesn't what matter?
That I want to be a different kind of man.
That. No, it doesn't matter. Not after all that you know. Look, Densu, there's nothing to fear. All you need is courage, and you have that. Eh? The people who have decided these things have been watching you, and they know, for instance, what everybody knows, that you emerge victor in the coming games. You just don't know how important these things are. Eh? Appear is the air. However, power doesn't always go to those who most expect it.
Are you saying the games have something to do with power holding at Esiano?
More than you think, Jesu. Far more than you think. Look, you will see soon enough. After you win the games, many a surprise will be waiting for you along whichever way you walk. All you need to do is be yourself and win. Jesu, I envy you. Yay!
May I go now?
By all means. I do not expect anything to happen, but when they do happen, I will let you know. Jesu. That's it.
The last day, Saturday came. The day when the champion for the entire games would be chosen. In ordinary years, the champion was known before the final day, but this year was extraordinary. The way the competition had gone so far, no one could tell who would be the champion before the end of the final day. The rivalry between Apia and Densu had been so close. Only the last day's competition could decide who would win the final victory.
The morning was sunny, the air was clear, and the world was quiet. Everything seems to have paralyzed in suspense, waiting for the final competition. It was a competition that would exhibit their hunting skills. The ancient hunting tools, arrows, spears, and knives were not used. Ages had passed since guns replaced them. Hey,
bring the birds! Oh, bring the birds!
Bring the birds!
From Awaba.
Anan was the first of the remaining three called to shoot.
Oh! Eish!
Apia shot next.
Then it was Densu's turn to shoot.
Still higher!
Oh!
What happened?
You saw what happened. I missed the bird.
Deliberately, you shot to hit string and not the pigeon.
I missed the bird.
People of Estiano, Apia is the winner!
That's the venom of Abakosem. That's the venom of Abakosem. That's the venom of Abakosem. All the number, all the number, Dada. That's it, the campaign. That's it, the campaign of Abakosem. Dada, Brian. Nene, nene, is a go. And every day is a go.
You threw away your victory. It was unwise, a wasteful thing to do. It doesn't matter, okay? You were born to win. You can't run away from that. But tell me, Densu, why are you afraid of winning?
Is everyone who loses afraid of winning?
Who loses deliberately? Yes. Do you deny that was what you did? Look, Densu, that is not why I came here. We don't have much time.
Time for what?
You have to decide now.
I have chosen.
Densu, look, I like you very much. And I would like to continue liking you. But you are setting yourself against me. I won't argue with you again. And I won't seek you out.
The morning marked the night following the Prince Pia's victory in the Games of Youth. The celebrated prince was found murdered on a little used path leading from Isuanu to the eastern forest. The way the prince had been butchered, it had been clear as spring water that his murder must have been an act of violent hate. The corpse was found hanging on a tree, its wrist bound above its head by ropes woven for great strength. The rope was tied to the largest bough of a strong, supple guava tree. The body's weight had bent the branches into a gigantic pole, and where the eyes had been was a gaping hole.
What did the murder mean? For what evil purpose did the murderer remove the prince's eyes? For what uncanny sorcery did the killer need pieces from the strong prince's arms and legs? These questions were asked in whispers. But before they could come out in the open and grow loud, they were interrupted by a pressing need. The body must be cut down and taken home to Iswano for burial.
The discovery of the prince appears that had interrupted Densu's preparation to go to the eastern forest. The suddenness and brutality of the prince's death had knocked his head with enough force to stun it. He had helped carry the body back to Iswano, taking 2 turns when the giant Muntui could not be found to do his part of the carrying. The whole day, he had remained unconscious, unable to make meaning out of all that was happening. The feeling of hunger had deserted him, and he felt no thirst, though his mouth was dry.
In his 15th year, Densu asked Abakosem to help him sit down for long enough to talk to him about matters agitating his spirit. Abakosem laughed at him for the earnest tone of his request. But the next time Danfo was in Iswano, she told him about Densu's desire. Danfo had time to talk to him.
What really is a healer's way?
You may say it's seeing, hearing, knowing.
I don't understand.
Take any place, say the forest. Men walk through, they see trees, leaves, sometimes small animals, insects, perhaps a snake. So many things, but they see little. They hear so many forest sounds, but they hear little.
But a healer sees more.
A healer sees differently. He hears differently. Yes. And hears more.
How?
Say a snake bites a child. People walking through the forest with their ordinary eyes see the child lying there, near death, helpless, in the middle of all the leaves of the forest. The healer sees not just a mass of leaves. He can recognize the spirit contained in each kind of leaf. He can see the leaf that has the spirit opposite to and stronger than the snake's poison. Out its juice for the spirit contained in it and use it in life.
Can everyone become a healer?
Few people ever want to become healers.
But can everyone become a healer?
Why not? Must first have its nature.
What is that?
Tell you what that is. So, but for a beginning, he who will be healer must set great value on speaking truly, acting truly, hearing truly, understanding truly. You see why healing isn't such a complication? The healer would rather see and hear and understand than have power over men. Most people would rather have power over men than hear and see.
What makes it so hard?
Many things, but for one thing, the healer devotes himself to inspiration. He lives against manipulation.
I think I understand inspiration, but manipulation?
It's a disease, a popular one. If I'm not spiritually blind, I see your spirit. And if I want to do something with you, I speak to it. If I want to do something with you. And if your spirit agrees, it moves your body. Then your body acts. That is inspiration. But if I'm spiritually blind, I see only your body. And if I want you to do something for me, I force or trick your body into doing it, even if it's against your spirit's direction. That is manipulation. Manipulation steals the body from the spirit, cuts the body off from the spirit's own direction. The healer is a lifelong enemy of all manipulation. The healer's method is inspiration.
How can a person become a healer?
You are much too young to ask such a question.
Danfo's words had come as sweet music to Densu's soul. The boy's soul had been thirsty for just such music. The first day's conversation had been long. It had kept Danfo at Esuano beyond the time he had planned to leave, but this did not irritate the healer. Densu understood he had made Danfo late and asked for forgiveness, but Danfo just smiled.
Can you tell Ajo I greet her?
Shall I mention your name, Densu? Or she would know if I say it's her admirer.
Welcome.
Thank you. Why? Where has your father gone?
Let him tell you himself when he comes. When did you start?
This morning.
Hey, did you fly?
I was eager to get here. I left very early, before the sun.
Still, what could have made you so eager?
Questions on my mind. I have to talk to Danfo.
You have to be patient. The Ashanti people have him now.
Why? What happened?
I don't understand yet. People from Praso and Kumasi came to see him with some message. He's been with them all this time. I don't know when he'll be back, but that's my game.
How so?
You can tell me what's been happening at Isiano.
The news isn't good.
About Apia?
You know?
Have they found out who murdered him yet?
No.
I think it's the royals themselves.
Why?
Who else will want to murder Apia? The royals have their power games. People are nothing to them, just things to use and obstacles to break down. You are lucky they never tried to involve you.
One of them did, Ababio.
What did he want?
He had a faction he wanted me to join.
And what did you say?
No.
He won't forgive you. Did you explain?
I told him long enough I wanted to be a healer, but he wouldn't listen.
You decided finally then.
I have decided.
That's very good. You have to be careful, Densu.
Of what?
Abebio, if he asks you to work for him and you refuse, he must be afraid you could expose him.
He said he shared a secret with me. He thought that would persuade me to join him.
Either that, or he'll still do something to you. We shouldn't sit up waiting for my father. I don't know when he'll be back tomorrow.
Is he safe?
That he is. Don't worry about him.
You didn't sleep?
Oh, I did. Not much, but well.
Ajua told me you were with some people from Kumasi.
No, some of our people, the healers, they want us to go there.
To Kumasi?
Not all the way, to Praso. We have a healers village there also. They think there's work for us there.
What do they want?
Someone is ill, and they think I can help cure him.
Is the illness rare?
No, it's not rare. Not the illness itself, but it doesn't usually strike important people. And this person who is ill is important.
An important man from Kumasi.
From the court.
What kind of disease is it?
Would it make sense to you if I said despair?
I would need some explanation. Would I know his name?
His name is Asamoah Nkwanta.
Oh, the commander of the armies of the Asante.
He was. But he no longer is.
Why? What happened to him?
The royals killed his favorite nephew.
As a punishment?
No. I see you haven't heard the story. For their royal pleasure.
So will you go?
Perhaps. I've slept over it. I think we will go.
Danfo changed the subject. He asked Densu the news from Meswano. Densu told him about Apia's death and burial. Danfo was dead quiet while Densu talked. When he finished, he asked,
Has there been any news of the murderer?
But Ababio has sworn to find him.
Ababio?
Yes, Ababio.
You came in a hurry. You came in a hurry.
I wanted to come earlier, before the games.
Something you wanted to talk about?
I would like to stay.
To stay?
I have decided.
Oh, to be a healer?
To learn.
How long ago did you reach this decision?
I'm not quite sure. It seems to me I've always wanted to come.
But you haven't left Esiano yet.
I don't understand.
You say you've decided to learn it. That's good. But whoever wants to be a healer must first take leave of the world he's grown up in before his mind is free for learning.
I've left Esiano.
Your body has.
My spirit also has.
That is difficult to know.
I'm sure of it.
See, I'm not trying to discourage you, but let you know that the things a healer takes back on are innumerable. These are the things of the world, and also things that are touching the spirit. There's comfort, there's wealth, even fame. There's also love, there's respect of close ones, satisfaction of being known where you go. These are the things that life for men. There's comfort, there's wealth, even fame. The healer turns his back on all of them.
Do you think I have not understood that?
It's hard to go away from everyone. It's lonely. It's hard to live the way a healer must live. It's hard to live without respect in the world.
Does a healer have no respect?
Not in the world as it is now.
But he does have respect.
Only from those who know value in work.
Is such respect not enough?
It's good to have you ask.
I think it is.
I believe you. Only has anyone told you the things the learner must do and not do? There are rules. Most people who wanted to be healers, thought they could be healers, ended up hating the rules alone. They found them hard. Some found them unnatural.
What are they?
In the beginning, there's 7.
Can you explain them to me?
Another day. The custom is to talk about 1 rule a day.
Why only 1?
To give the necessary time for complete understanding.
Are the rules that complex?
Some find them so. Then they need a whole day to examine its implications.
Can we begin tomorrow?
Others find them easily, like breathing. And yes, we can begin tomorrow, but now I have to go.
Why?
Questions.
Among the Asante, it was unthinkable to have the king travel anywhere alone. A king, after all, must have servants and attendants to ease his passage through the world. It was beneath the king's dignity to do anything for himself, yet the king must always be comfortable.
So when the time came for the king to go on the last of journeys, that's the journey of death, the royals thought it necessary to send slaves with him. Just as slaves made his life on earth easy, so slaves should be sent to death. They would ease every passage of the spirit and give the spirit the luxury the body had grown accustomed to. Whenever the king died, the riot were permitted. It was a duty, some tending to a pleasure, to raid Kumasi after dark to slaughter anyone. They murdered victims who served the king in the underworld.
Do you remember when Anakwekudia died? He was the king before the present Kakari.
I heard about it that one Saturday night.
Terrible news, the death of an Asante king.
When Kwekudia died, the young princess Kumasi went for their ancestors, rushed around the city, looking for the victims to send after the dead king. Looking for the victims to send after the dead king.
Had they killed only their powerless people, without relatives to avenge their death, the killings would have been forgotten soon enough.
But one principal chancellor took advantage of the murderous excitement to kill a young man he hated. The young man was a nephew of the commander of all the armies of Asante, Asaman Kwanta.
Hey, not just his nephew, his favorite nephew. Asaman Kwanta,
Commander of Asante armies. Asaman Kwanta, Commander of Asante armies. Asaman Kwanta, Commander of Asante armies.
Asaman Kwanta, the greatest Asante general. He was more than a general to all generals. Edubafu and Amankwetia were mere novice compared to him.
They were both his pupils. The highest title for bravery among warriors, Osajifo, was already his. Osajifo was his. If the worth of a man depended on his deeds and not his birth, Asaman Kwanta would have easily been the most important man in the whole land. In the whole Kumasi.
The killing of his favorite nephew plunged Asaman Kwanta into a terrifying rage. He sought to destroy immediately whoever had destroyed his nephew, but Boachi Asu had disappeared, and Asaman Kwanta turned the fire of his fury against the royals. He, the chief defender of Asante, commander of Asante armies, threatened war on the royal families. The soldiers of Asaman Kwanta loved him. Many followed him anywhere, even if he decided to attack the city Kumasi itself, and then the threat of civil war will not have remained a mere threat.
The royals found a sacrifice to pacify Asaman Kwanta. Openyin Kwame, an uncle of the prince, Bachasun, was that sacrifice. But Asaman Kwanta's anger did not disappear. Turned into a sorrow of such depth, he vowed never again to touch arms in defense of Asante. The vow became something like a curse upon the Asante army.
So after Asaman Kwanta's refusal, the army of Asante wasted their time in one foolish adventure after another. Altogether, they were like a powerful beast with his head cut off. The remaining generals of Asante lacked the vision of Asaman Kwanta. Of his skill, they had none. So they could only exhaust the armies without achieving anything.
But the soldiers of Asante kept calling on someone to return to lead them.
But the murder of his nephew had pushed him so far from serving royal power. But the murder of his nephew had pushed him so far from serving royal power.
Densu, you are here. I'm going back soon.
Where?
Home, to Esano.
I don't understand. I came to learn. I would like to be a healer.
Yes, I've understood that.
But you still want me to go away?
Yes, it's necessary to go back.
You doubt my sincerity then?
It's not your sincerity.
You are rejecting me.
It's not rejection. You've made a generous decision. You want to spend the rest of your life doing healing work. Now, there's something strange about generous decisions. They ought to be the best decisions, but they are not. A generous decision often strength, firmness. The decision to be a healer must be firmer than any other decision. You shouldn't, and it shouldn't be made out of the generosity of a young spirit alone.
You don't believe me.
I believe you. You know what you are choosing, and also what you are rejecting.
You yourself have told me what I should know about the healing work. What I know convinces me. It's what I want to spend my life doing.
And what you are rejecting in life at Asiano in the great beyond.
That life holds no attraction for me.
I believe you, but time may change your mind. Especially time spent facing difficulties. Healing work is hard. To become a healer, you must go through 3 years of rigorous training. After that, you begin work. Now, the work is hard, even harder than the training. There's no comfort in it for the body. Occasionally, healers get thanks, but more often and most often there's a suspicion and hostility. And there will always be the contempt of those who would never understand the work that we do. And there are so many of them in the world. Very many.
I thought of that before I made my mind.
That decision is still only in your mind. And when it becomes part of your feelings, you be ready, then so you be ready.
I thought of that before I made my mind.
That decision is still only in your mind. And when it becomes part of your feelings, you be ready, then so you be ready.
How can I show you it's already part of my feelings too?
It takes time.
How long?
A year at least.
And what am I expected to do in that year?
It's a time of farewells, taking leave of the world you've known.
Do all healers have to go through such a period?
Normally, yes.
What use is it?
If the learner has made a hasty decision, the year gives him time to reconsider.
And if that decision is genuine?
It becomes firmer.
Why this distrust?
I wouldn't call it distrust. Do you know a Suman?
The witch doctor at the court?
Is that what they call him at Esiano? He was a healer once. But when he began, his enthusiasm was higher than the sky. But in the end, he had to leave healing work. We here were left to worry about the reason, and we found it. A Suman spirit had never left Esiano in the first place. He thought of healing work as something that should make the healer personally important. The work itself was not satisfaction enough. He wanted rewards outside the world. Faith, wealth, power. We don't have those things here. So a Suman had to leave.
Do you think I would repeat a Suman's mistake?
I don't know, but I hope you can see that healing requires a lot of sacrifice. And sometimes the sacrifices may seem too much.
Are you afraid I won't be able to make the necessary sacrifices?
I'm afraid you're to accept the necessity of sacrifices too early. The fruit of premature acceptance of sacrifice is regret.
I wish I can make you see for my nature that the things you think are necessary are not sacrifices.
But are you afraid your nature will change within the coming year?
I'm not afraid of that.
Are you afraid you'll not be able to resist the attractions and rewards of the Siano and Cape Coast?
No.
Then what is it then?
I've told you already. That life repels me.
A year is long, but not too long. And don't just go away, Densu. Come when you wish to talk. Come as you wish. When we are going to Esiano, when we are going to Pratt, I'll pass by Esiano and let you know. And when we return this way, I'll also let you know.
I thought of that before I made my mind.
Only in your mind, and when it becomes part of your feelings, you be the day you be.
I thought of that before I made my mind.
The decision is still only your mind, and when it becomes part of your feelings, you'll be ready, then so you'll be ready. In the evening, downfall was away again. Ajwa had brought supper, but Densu could not eat. He had lost all desire. So she sat, watched him, and saw he was suffering. She could think of nothing to do to soothe his pain, so she was quiet. In the end, unable to remain quiet any longer, she asked Densu,
"My father has upset you.
I must go back to Esiano.
You sound like it's the grave. Is it so bad?
I'd wanted to stay.
Does he say you can't?
After a year.
The healers call it leave. Taking time. You have to, especially you.
Why especially me?
They say those who have the world open to them need a long farewell. In a year, you may well decide the charms of Esiano are too many to give up for life here in the forest.
What charms, Ajwa? What charms? I quite remember you left Esiano quite happily enough yourself.
I'm not Densu. The world is not offering itself to me. Tell me truly, how many beautiful women have made you see how much they like you?
I don't understand.
Perhaps not, Densu. Since you don't wish to talk of certain things, let's talk of something else. From what you said, Abebio is offering you a piece of the earth, a large piece.
You are laughing at me.
A little. Come back often, Densu, and be careful of those who want to make you powerful. Come back often, Densu. Will you promise me that?
What do you mean that? Someone help me undo this. Take this to HR. I'm your guard now. The other guards are tired, so we can talk. We have some time.
I'm supposed to be the murderer of Apia.
Ababi and Suman are saying so.
What's the trial going to be like?
Who told you of a trial?
Ababi.
So he's been here. It's the poison back trial. Someone suspected of a crime. This person, someone suspected of a crime, they make the person drink this poison. He dies. That proves he's guilty.
Isn't it supposed that only the guilty one would die?
The poison isn't well known, but I've asked around. All those who know of the poison, the first person to drink the poison always dies. Now, you'll be the first person to drink the poison on Saturday.
Who says?
Ababi and Suman. Suman is the one who brought the poison back. Suman has a drug put into food to make people admit to crimes.
A truth drug?
I doubt it. Give me some time. I'll have an escape plan for you as soon as possible. But don't eat any food they bring you here. And I'll make sure you get food with no funny drugs in it. Don't eat.
Don't eat. Don't eat.
Don't eat.
Leave your food to fly. Let the sun drink your water. Remember the prince who died, the strong one who died green, the green one who died without fruit. A man has died before his time. Another one will die tonight. The trial will end with death outside the palace tonight. Leave your food to flies. Let the sun drink your water. Leave your food to flies. Let the sun drink your water.
Leave your food.
Densu had no idea how long he'd been asleep. He thought vaguely that he would like to wake up. But when he tried, pain seared its way through the right side of his head, and he lay back down, exhausted. He looked around. He was in a room. Something in his mind told him the place looked familiar, but he could not remember why. There was light outside, but not much of it reached the room.
He thought it could be morning, dawn probably, because he smelled the air, and the air was so fresh that it made him glad in spite of his exhaustion. He slept again.
When he woke a second time, there was a face above his looking down, with eyes extremely sad, so that Densu's first impulse was to give comfort to whomever was looking at him through those eyes.
Where's Ajua?
She has work to do.
Where's Anand?
Densu, you have to rest now.
I've been resting all this while. Where's...
You've not had enough rest.
Where's Anand, my friend? Where is he?
He lost too much blood from the wound in. Sometimes you look as if
he was helping me.
Yes, but that's not to say you killed him.
I was the cause.
Wouldn't you have helped him if he needed your help?
He was my friend.
That he was. More than that. His soul looked in the same direction as yours. Incident that he died. But you don't have to make it a matter for self-blame. Would it have made more sense to you if you both died? You feel diminished by his death, and that is natural. But what is unnatural is the wish to die. It helps no one. Not him, and certainly not you. Think of him if you must. But if you give in to despair, then his life is wasted. Just wasted.
Preparations for the move to Praso went smoothly, swiftly. The preparations for the move to Praso went smoothly, swiftly. It will be necessary to carry Araba along. And traveling over water will be a way to keep her healing bones in place within their casts.
For 8 days, the canoe climbed gradually north against the River Pra. It was a slow voyage, but the river was calm and peaceful. A slope rose more steeply, then turned right as if it would double back upon itself, then straighten out again. And then there was a clearing on the side of the hill, with 7 houses in a sort of a circle on the edges of a central open space.
An excited show outside the door broke the beginning conversation. Something as stomach as a wind blew and did not stop till it breathed down for and practically knocked him over.
Oh, my brother. Oh, I thought you wouldn't make it. Oh, come hold me, oh, my brother.
Oh, Nyane, eh? You grow stronger every time I see you.
And Ajwa is already a woman. Come and let me see you. My child. My eyes are growing weaker all the time. Oh.
It's not your eyes in that car.
And who is that young man there? Ajua, I hear a smile in your voice. I see where the Jesus lands. Desu, where are you from?
Esiano.
Desu is the son born to Manan and Kwame Ansa.
Desu, come here, sit beside. Hey, oh, Desu. And has he come for healing?
No, he has long ways to be a healer.
Oh, the world is so good sometimes. Man's son, Kwame Ansa's son, wants to be a healer.
Chineboy and Mensa here?
No. They've gone to Kumasi to bring us a man Kwanta. They should be here any day. I was hoping they would be here before you came. What a woman I've become to forget to give travelers food and water. Ajua, my child. Take it.
For your pressure, I'm thinking about other things.
I don't know, what is it?
The first day of work with the Saman Kwanta, the healer called the clearing of the ground. As Saman Kwanta did not come alone to the healer's village at Praso.
Yes, Mom. Yes, Mom.
Fiti edue! Fiti edue! Anu ne fiti abomofo no! Osi eje nunume. Na Samuel Kwante free me ye. Missy me so mitiomu na Samuel Kwante fiti. Wama yati akokwa tesima mosiedi. Wama fiada antuata. Wama yedi edu kronsio ne edwari abamo. Yedi edu kronsio edwari abamo sienio. Mrane aferia yebo ni dimbo ne mrane o kafra.
Our conversations would be more genuine if you came alone.
How so?
If the pain-bringing disease to the mind comes from the past, healing would mean moving the mind beyond the past, traveling into the future as light as it can. There's no need to forget the past. But for every piece of the past we find in our present, it may be necessary to ask, will it bear me like a stepping stone, or will I have to wear it, a weight around my neck? In that case, the past is heavy. It must be left behind. I will speak even more plainly. If there's anyone here listening to our conversations before whom you would rather not say certain things, our conversations will not be genuine.
I said I hear you.
The great fighter, warrior of the crossways, terror of the enemies of Asante, winner of 100 warriors, looked a wasted wreck. The warrior looked more relaxed than when he had come in, but still, his face looked drawn.
The medicine you gave me was very helpful.
You slept well?
Better than any day since they killed him.
Dreams?
Nightmares, not dreams. Like every day since.
Then you didn't sleep well.
I did. They did not wake me up this time.
Who?
The nightmares.
They always woke you? Why?
You know, I always try to save him.
Your nephew? From whom?
That is something I don't know. I don't ever see the killer's face, but I can feel the killer's strokes cutting him. Not the pain, but the blows.
Do the blows hit you too?
No. I can feel the killer's arm in the act.
Struggling against you?
Not struggling against me, but I don't see him. But I can feel the killer's strength in my arm, and I know I can stop him.
You feel the killer and you are very close. Then why aren't you able to stop him?
That is something I don't know. I can't help him. It is my own hand, and I cannot stop it. I can't turn it against myself. Against the killer, I can do nothing. I can't even see him. And the child is looking at me. I watch him go. They killed him just like a slave.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Have you thought of the reason for that death?
It's the custom.
Have you examined the custom that could result in so much death? Would you change the custom if you had the power?
No.
Would your nephew have died if there hadn't been any such custom?
But I tell you, the custom did not kill him.
I hear you. You say it was an accident and not a necessity of custom.
Yes, it was an accident.
My question is, may not such accident be prevented if
the custom is abolished? What kind of world would it be then? A world without slaves?
Precisely. A world without slaves.
A world without slaves. You might as well wish for a world without kings.
Yes. No slaves, no kings.
No slaves, no kings. What will there be then?
People. Human beings with respect for each other.
You think impossible thoughts, Hila. Our people have always had kings and slaves.
Not always.
When have the Asante not had kings and slaves?
Are our people only the Asante?
What do you mean?
The Asante are part of the Akan. The Akan, in turn, are part of something larger.
It's a disturbing matter to think about.
What is?
Who we are. The Akan and the black people being one.
And what is disturbing about that?
I also know the idea, but it goes far into the past. And mind going far into the past may get lost.
Minds don't get lost in the past. They don't stay in the past. They go to find the truth in the past, come into the present, and look toward the future. That is not getting lost. The present is where we can get lost if we lose and we forget our past and have no vision for the future.
If I let my mind go far into the past, the journey confuses me. The Akan were one people. The black people were all connected. What will it profit my mind?
But if the past tells you that the Akans and black people were connected centuries ago, then perhaps it tells you that there's nothing eternal about our present state of division. We were one in the past. We may come again together in the future.
Present looks shabby and unbearable.
And yet, these same thoughts, followed into the future, may bring you energy, greater energy,
perhaps
for work.
Perhaps.
The 14th day.
What I want to understand, but can't, is the connection between the thoughts I have during the day and the nightmares that come to me at night.
Must there be a connection?
I feel there must be. Something disturbs me, lack of understanding. I feel the disturbances will end as soon as I understand the connection.
Okay. What are these daytime thoughts?
You know them. I've spent my entire life fighting to make Asante strong. If the past was a time of unity, then must I see my entire life as wrong?
And the nightmares?
There are many, but they are all the same. I see myself walking outward from Kumasi along the Subin Valley.
I see myself walking outward from Kumasi along the Subin Valley.
I read the swamp of death.
I reach the swamp of death.
Where the corpses of executed slaves are thrown.
Where the corpses of executed slaves are thrown.
I see no corpses there at first.
I see no corpses there at first.
What I see is my nephew again alive.
What I see is my nephew again alive.
Playing happily.
He's playing happily.
And it seems he has the power to run above the swamp without sinking in it.
And it seems he has the power to run above the swamp without sinking in it.
The games he plays.
The games he plays.
The games I taught him when he was a child.
The games I taught him when he was a child. Games for a warrior.
He shoots 2 guns at once.
He shoots 2 guns at once.
And his aim with both is perfect.
And his aim with both is perfect.
I stand amazed at the edge of the swamp, lost in admiration, dreaming of the future he will grow up to.
I stand amazed at the edge of the swamp, lost in admiration, thinking of the future he will grow up to.
When I look again.
When I look again.
My nephew's getting shorter, this can't be.
My nephew's getting shorter, this can't be.
I go towards him with my arms stretched.
I go towards him with my arms stretched.
He keeps sinking and do.
He keeps sinking and do.
Try to move fast, I can't reach him.
Try to move fast, I can't reach him.
The last part is the west.
The last part is the west.
Slow, so slow.
Slow, so slow.
His neck starts to go.
His neck starts to go.
Ringing after ring.
Ringing after ring.
Mouth goes.
Mouth goes.
The swamp takes his nostrils.
The swamp takes his nostrils.
His eyes staring at me.
His eyes staring at me. When it disappears completely, there's nothing, 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 not a ripple on that swamp. Is it that you feel guilty he did not prevent his death?
I don't know what I feel. But if I could have prevented his death, I would have. How could I have known such a thing would happen to him?
There's no way you would have been able to protect him as long as people could be killed that way.
But
the guilt isn't yours.
But the feeling of impotence is bitterer than guilt. He was so good. He was quick. He shot as if his mother has brought him into this world with a gun in his hand. He would have surpassed me. But Wachi so took his life.
Tell me, does the memory of your nephew's death take you only into that past?
Yes.
In that direction, you would only lose energy.
What do you mean?
As long as you concentrate on the event that brought loss, your mind will take energy away from you.
What else could I have concentrated on then?
Ways to make such loss of life impossible.
But it has happened already.
To one person, your nephew, yes. But if that's all that is important to you, then your soul will remain trapped in the contemplation of that loss from the past, the recent past. Have you thought of the future? The past steals energy from you because it forces you to think of loss you are impotent to prevent. The future may bring you energy if it can show you ways to work against such kind of loss.
The 30th day.
You look different.
I am different.
Is that good or bad?
You should know. The medicine you give me at night don't just make me sleep. They make me eat like a hog.
Like the man you are.
Oh.
You used not to eat at first, like a ghost.
I didn't have an appetite.
You didn't want to live.
It's a burden in life.
But sometimes we have enough energy to carry it. Have you had any more nightmares?
It's a dream now, strange.
Is it also a recurring dream?
4 times I've had it so far.
Similar to the nightmares?
In a way. It's in the swamp again. I see 3 men. They are tall and lean. So tall, how about the trees behind them? Their walk is solemn. They walk toward me and say, I know it is me they are looking for. They turn their faces so I can't recognize them. The way they talk is surprisingly gentle for men whose head reach far up into the sky. They are talking to me, not ordering me or scolding me, but pleading with me. They ask me a question I don't understand.
What has the army done to you?
I asked them, why such a baffling question? But they keep on saying, I have cursed the army so that it has been suffering. I say, I have cursed no one. But they keep on saying it as if it were a song.
What has the army done to you? Why have you abandoned us? Is the army a court? Why have you abandoned us? Is the army a court?
Why have you abandoned us? Is the army the court?
Then at last they turn their faces toward me. They are smiling. I recognize them all. The first person is Opening Kwamin, the one who was sacrificed in place of the criminal, Boachi Asu. In the center is Otumfuo Anochi himself, smiling at me. And the third person is my nephew. They disappear completely out of my sight. But their words kept on ringing in my head.
Why have you abandoned us? Is the army the court?
You live very close to the desires of your soul.
I used to. Why do you say that?
It's your dreams that tell. When people build their lives so close to the desires of their soul, their dreams are extremely direct. They are nightmares too.
I live far from my desires now.
Have you thought why?
The army has been my life. I could not remember a warrior. I wanted to spend my entire life fighting for Asante. And after my life, I wanted my bloodline to continue doing my work. My nephew.
What happened to that desire? It's too strong to have died.
It didn't die. It cannot die in me. But there's a feeling in me that paralyzes my will. When I think of my life's work, the best that is in me is to give power to men who know how to waste power and waste life. There's a feeling in me sometimes I feel like the forces of will and life deserting me.
You don't feel like serving royalty.
It was never my aim just to serve royalty. But when I find men who think well and act strongly for a good purpose, I respect them. When I find such men among the royals, I respect them.
Do you find such men among the royals?
Certainly, Osei Tutu was such a man.
Certainly. But what of the royals today?
The royals these days serve themselves solely. The royals these days have not inherited, he inherited the royal power. But the unfortunate thing is, they couldn't inherit the skills and strength of personalities that made their uncles fit to be kings.
So you would say the first kings did serve the people better?
Certainly. Of the likes of Osei Tutu and Obri Abua, I shall always say that.
Is it that what paralyzes your will is the sense that the royals no longer serve the people?
The royals these days serve themselves only, sadly.
If that is true, then what is this army you've built your life around?
The royals.
Strength returned to Asamoah Nkwanta. Satan egged the warrior spirit, and soon enough, he made it his habit to go hunting, bringing so much venison that the healers had to ask him to spare the animals.
Does he remind you of anyone?
This your Densu. Can he aim a gun at all?
Ask him.
Asamoah Nkwanta pointed to an orange tree down the hind path from the healer's compound. Only one fruit was ripe, but it hung close to a green cluster.
Try that one. I thought you were going to hit the orange.
Then I failed your test.
Will you hunt with me? My slippers.
Seven war captains came to Asamoah Nkwanta, told tales of waste and despair ravaging the Asante army. The army crossed down the Pra and descended southward like a flood of fire. The captain's stories was a long dirge of disasters with no meaning, death with no reason, destruction with no end in sight. All the captains agreed they had started when the Asante army lost the leadership of Asamoah Nkwanta. They were sure that the only salvation lay in the return of the supreme commander they had all been waiting for. They asked Asamoah Nkwanta one final impatient question. When?
Reminded the captains the command of the army was not a single person's to take or give. If the royal council thought the army needed Asamoah Nkwanta, surely the royal council had ways and means to let Asamoah Nkwanta know. But the royal council did not think the army needed Asamoah Nkwanta. Wouldn't it be sheer usurpation for Asamoah Nkwanta to think himself needed?
Asamoah Nkwanta began to have a conscious obsession, an intense need to know what was going on down on the coast. He talked to the healers and told them it was important for him to find out what the whites were planning.
We must know something more definite. If there is going to be war, then we have a lot of work ahead of us.
Yes.
We need to know what the whites actually intend.
Is there no one at Cape Coast?
We have Amankuma, but she's old.
I could go.
It's dangerous, isn't it?
It needn't be. What you need is to find out what the whites are planning. You can stay with Amankroma and go to town when you have to. It's a short walk along the beach.
Shall I need a disguise?
No, it's best to be who you really are. The less disguise, the easier. Then you wouldn't waste time trying to remember who you are pretending to be. And when there's an unexpected problem, you have free mind space for solving it.
But I know little about medicine.
You know enough. Take only one kind of medicine. Something those you are working among are sure to want.
But don't royals want all kinds of medicine?
That they do. Individually. Everything imaginable. But of all the earth's herbs and barks, they cherish one the most. That is the one you should take.
You have it?
Some.
What is it?
They call it Bediwuna.
Oh.
You with the jubad. The king wants you. You have come from afar, young man.
Not too far.
What is your work?
Healing.
What is in that bag?
Oh, medicines for my work.
That small bag?
Oh, I have only one kind of medicine today.
What is it?
It is the kind that would demand whispers.
A name that demands whispers. That I must hear. You know, I hear better with this left ear. Now, tell me this whisper.
Bediwuna.
Is that a joke?
I'm a healer.
And you have a medicine with such a name?
I do.
I know that name. I always thought it was told by ruffians. Is it true?
It's what true?
That he makes a man do all that.
Oh, that it does. Yeah, it does. But after all, power comes from nature. But this one does one thing only. That is, removes the obstacle in a man's feeling that blocks the full thrust of power.
You amaze me, young man. Something tells me I must be slow to believe you.
You don't need to believe anything. You know what's the truth and what's a lie.
So are you suggesting I try this drug?
If your spirit moves you.
Can you see my gray hair? You disrespectful child.
I can see it very well. And I believe it's a sign of great experience and wisdom.
Go nowhere yet, young man. The king wants you to stay.
Does he want my medicine?
No! The king does not need any medicine. In fact, his power is sufficient, more than sufficient. He does not need your drug. He needs it for an unfortunate friend.
Quite so.
You, come stand with me. Now, tell me your name.
Densu. What may I call you?
Nsaku. The king welcomes you.
My friend,
Yeah.
here are the words of the powerful white officer you see before us. the renowned Sir Garnet Wolseley, commander of the armies greater ever seen in this land and anywhere else. Here is words. The great white officer says he is overjoyed to see so many kings and important men here, all good peoples of the greatest among the white, the English nation. The great white man comes from a great white queen, powerful beyond all kings on earth. This great white queen, her name is Victoria, has ears and hears whatever goes on in this world and even here. She has overheard the damage the Asante armies have done against us at the coast, and so had sent this white man out of the kindness of her heart and the fullness of her might, so we can drive away all the Asante armies, defeat them so they will never rise again.
It's good news.
This great white queen is all powerful, but like God, she only helps those who help themselves. And so we are to recognize that the war against the Asante armies is our war. And we should also remember how often the Asante royals have always stated that they have no quarrels with the white except the black people, like us. The white man says the white have their castle, as against that which if the Asante armies are numbered 1,000,000 will never hope to prevail. Were this queen selfish, she would have allowed all the white men to stay peacefully in their fort. But she's kind and does not want us to suffer. She has decided to help us. She's going to help us by giving us guns, skilled officers who are trained on the field of war to advise us. She's even going to give us food. But for the fighting, we are left to do that ourselves.
Do it, don't worry, we can do it.
The great white man wants to know from all kings here how many men they are ready to bring on the field, ready for war. And also, he wants to put this across to all warriors, that they must assemble at Dukwa. And all chiefs must be present with their warriors until the war is over. The great white man says, no king or chief should think that all the effort that they are putting in now will be in vain. No. The white man says they are going to give out a huge sum of 10 English pounds. 10 English pounds. Let me repeat myself again. 10 English pounds. This is going to be given to every chief who is ready to bring 1,000 men to the battlefield. The great white man says he's going to give out guns and powder and bullets to every king at any time he's in need of it. There is also going to be an additional food that is going to be raised to the measure of 1 pint to each fighter each day. And also there's going to be meat. Delicious salted meat is going to be given out to each fighting man every 4 days. Now, all these be available at the castle.
We shall all fight.
The great white man says the food is on its way from England. No, but whilst we wait for the food, he's going to give out of his own pocket a whole 4 pennies to the chiefs and the kings. From his own pocket, 4 pennies and another half. This is going to be given out to the chiefs. And even after the food is here, he's going to give out 3 pennies to each fighting man. And this is going to be given out through the chiefs and the kings. The great white officer, Sir Garnet Wolseley, says to ensure that this goes on smoothly, he's going to give out to each king 1 white. This white man is going to be an advisor to the king, and his advice must be obeyed. And if you don't obey his advice, he's putting this across, that is tantamount to punishment. Now he said, the white queen whose car you see all over have heard that some of our kings still kill prisoners and also cut off the heads of those killed at the battlefield. She has ordered us to stop this act. Now, this white man you see here, Sir Garnet Wolseley, is a very busy man. And so he's telling us that no one should come to him, disturbing him with their petty troubles as to wanting to speak with him. No, He says if he's ready to speak to anyone at all, he himself will call that person and speak to him.
Hey, you.
And the great white man says I should put this across, that he wants to know from each king how many men they are ready to bring for the war. But even before then, he says all kings are now given the opportunity to go back and put their heads together as to how many men they are bringing and stuff. I am done with my submission.
The kings have heard the wise, generous words. These are the sweetest words ever uttered since creation began. So sweet are the words that, had the kings been centuries dead and buried, would have broken open their overgrown graves, just with the single purpose of tasting these words. It is the desire of all the chiefs that they will most warmly cooperate with the general. They only hope for one thing, that in his dealing with them, he will tread firmly in the footsteps of the brave and generous governor, McCarthy, who fought and died so bravely in the battle at Nsamanko 50 years back.
The gathering of chiefs agreed the white general's gift of rings was just.
Nananom. The children of Ogumakuma greet you. The children of Odapejan greet you. The children of Osun greet you. This is not a festival we are holding for you. It is a heavy time, and we cry to you for help. The Oyuko enemy, the Asante thousand, for whom war is love, has risen against your children. In time past, we have called on you when we are in need, and you did not fail us. You did for us what was in your power. The power lent to you by the dependable one, the trustworthy, the repairer, the keeper, the one of thousand praises. You did all that was possible, and even though we did not prevail against the enemy, we survived his fire. The Oyuku enemy, the Asante thousands, the prickly porcupine quills, for whom war is love, has risen against your children again. From the white strangers beyond the sea, beyond the horizon, help us help them. Help us help them drive the Asante thousand back into their land and maintain peace. Ask this for us. Ask this of the Almighty, the creator of all things, the unbending tree of life, the beginning of all things, and the end of all things. On my faith,
The kings began to drink. The king of Daintra was audibly the first. He drained his cup at one heroic go and announced this feat to the world with a great powerful belt as loud as a cannon shot going off at night.
10 pounds. Anta, that is money.
Not so much, if you consider what we are told to do. 10 pounds for 1,000 fighting men. That's not enough. I, Bentel, Field Marshal of Gomwa, knows how difficult it is to gather even 100 warriors together. 1,000 fighting men. The white man must be crazy. We should get 100 pounds for each 1,000 men we can persuade to fight.
Yes. But the 10 pounds are for our own use only. The whites will give food and pay the fighters as well. And if the food, pay, and ammunition are to be distributed by us, we may end up with considerably more than just these 10 pounds.
Yes, I think we would be wise to accept the 10 pounds, at least for now.
Yes. Did you count how many men the white general brought with him? About 30.
No. 50.
So let it be 50. We don't need 50. What can 50 white men do against about 30,000 warriors from Asante?
The white man is here to give us food, money, advice, and guns.
That's not enough. They have always supplied us with those, and we've always been defeated. Almost always then. When the whites advise us, they take care not to give us the best guns ever. What do they care if 1,000 of us die? What do they care? What do they care if 1,000 of us die? But if they had whites fighting here, they will bring the best guns ever seen in this world. The only thing that can defeat Asante is an army of whites.
We cannot make them bring such an army. The whites are afraid.
Why do they fear? They have better weapons than the Asante.
It isn't the Asante alone. They fear the forest. The white man cannot last long in the forest. The fever catches them and they die.
Even if they weren't afraid, this Garnet Osei isn't so powerful among the whites. He has got no power to send for white soldiers.
I must ask pardon to speak like this. For whatever had been said here now is not quite true. Because of the work I do, I overhear a lot that the white people say to each other. And for the man I work with, it's very powerful. And trust me, from what I know, the only person in this world who is more powerful than he is the Queen of England. And he and the Queen of England are like this.
The chase. Help with the chase. Help with the chase. Help with the chase.
Asaman Kwante's meeting with the royal envoys was short. He asked them what message they brought. The royal envoy said their message was simple. The Asante people needed Asaman Kwanta. The Asante army was perishing in the absence of Asaman Kwanta. The Asante royal families were asking for the counsel of Asaman Kwanta. Asaman Kwanta gave his answer. No pretense at hesitation. He would go to Kumasi to listen to the royal council there.
On the third day after Asaman Kwante's arrival to Kumasi, the royal council met to hear him.
Asaman Kwanta, we called you here today because of the state of the Asante army. We know of your personal sorrows, and we know of the sorrows of the Asante kingdom. Please forgive us for our wrongs and exact whatever further price you are entitled to. But please do not abandon the Asante army, leaving it to bleed itself and the Asante nation to death.
Others spoke, but neither in substance nor in style could any of them improve on the Queen Mother's speech.
What do you want me to do?
Save the army of Sajifo Asamoah Nkwanta. Right now, it is seeking its way home, but it is lost without a guide. Give it your guidance once again.
That is not a heavy task to accept.
There's more. There are signs and sounds of a white army preparing to invade Asante. Some have even heard of talk of them planning to conquer Kumasi. No one here has any idea as to how to counter these threats from the white army. Whenever this topic comes up, all you hear is, if only Asamoah Nkwanta were here. If only Asamoah Nkwanta were here. You are here with us now. Already, you have attained the title of Sajifo from your work done with the army. There's only one title higher than this, Srafokra, soul of the army. Osajifo, if that is within your reach out and it shall be yours. We are calling to you. Return to the army. Give the warriors the spirits they need.
I hear you. I hope the whites are brave enough to come.
Some of us do not understand this hope.
I have seen our brothers on the coast. Those are the natural fish. When they begin, they never oppose the motion of the fish. They lead them into the nets. Only then do they block up the end of the nets. There's no way out. The fish are trapped. Momumbra, let the whites invade Asante. I, Asamoah Nkwanta, shall select a good place for fighting a battle. When the whites reach that place, there will be fish facing our forward wall. Let the center regiment be that wall. Let the left regiment turn on the white troops and harass them to death. The regiment of the right wing will circle around the white troops and keep them in the forest and block up their nets. The whites have better guns than we have. In fact, we are dependent on the white for our weapons. But the whites fear the forest because they know the forest fight for us against them. They may plan to invade Asante, but they cannot plan to fight long war. The clearest way to defeat the whites is to oblige them to stay in the forest and fight a long war. Then, when we have trapped them and they cannot retreat, we will let the forest finish them off.
Thank you, Osajifo. You may now take leave of us to take command of the army on its way back to Kumasi.
Are you such children to believe Asamoah Nkwanta has forgiven us? His plan to fight the whites is a clever one, but it is also a plan to avenge himself on the royal house.
So you mean you don't believe his way is the only way to stop the whites from reaching Kumasi?
Yes, it is. But would you rather be king of a violated nation or nothing at all in a virgin land? If Asante should follow Asamoah Nkwanta to fight the whites, there is nothing stopping him from becoming king of this inviolate nation. The wisdom of a king lies in knowing at all times what to do in order to remain a king. If what should be done is to yield a little to the whites, better that than to lose all power to an upstart general.
I see wisdom in everything Anahima is saying. What do you suggest we do now?
Let Asamoah Nkwanta set his... That thing calls a trap. The success of his plan depends on your closing the net from behind the white army. Asafweje, is it your ambition to help Asamoah to the stool?
What can I do?
If I were you, I would go back home. Go to Drabin and protect your seat, and leave Asamoah to continue fishing with half a net.
Could it be true there was an army of white soldiers, a ghostly army marching against Kumasi, the never violated virgin city Kumasi? Kumasi, the city that had never allowed
Any hostile foreigner to penetrate her.
any hostile foreigner to penetrate her.
Could it be true the king himself had begun swinging like a puppet between fear and hope?
Why should it not be in time of immense importance? All the events talked about were extraordinary, but in these days of fear they became a commonplace. Kumasi, Queen Mother of Cities. Kumasi, the beautiful green one. Kumasi, Queen Mother of Cities. Kumasi, the beautiful green one. This was the time of omens, and the first omen was this.
At a time when no rains were yet expected, a bright day has suddenly been turned into a menacing night. Huge clouds had come to choke the air and fill the sky. Lightning flashes split the clouds like fierce messengers of death, looking for something to destroy. As for the thunder that accompanied the lightning, the sound alone was so strong it shook buildings that stood 100 days against flood or rain. As for the remainder of the destroyed day, the clouds hung threateningly immobile over the earth. They stayed far into the night. At midnight, the clouds murmured like ill-tempered giants, then parted to precipitate over the astonished earth. Not water or rain, but a flood of hard stones. One was so large, it crashed through the roof and broke the skull of a child 6 days old, dragging him back amongst his bereaved ancestors.
Next, a story came floating on secret whispers from Bantama. Come and tell us. A sacred burial place of kings. A royal eunuch has seen a porcupine. The Asante beast himself, slowly crossing the open place before the principal mausoleum. The eunuch had called the attendants of the burial chambers to come and admire the symbolic beast. Scarcely had the porcupine reached the center of the open space when the beast that had put it to flight appeared crawling behind him. A great, huge silver python. The eunuch and the attendants of death, fascinated, stood watching the unfolding encounter.
The porcupine turned to face his hunter. His quills shot out, stiff, fiercely rattling against each other. But the python flowed just as smoothly forward. When he reached its prey, without first attempting to throw his coils over him, without stretching his prey,
He swallowed them whole, coils and all. After feeding thus, the python did not move on. Coiled himself in a pile of circles. Laid his head on the highest pile and began the sleep of days. The eunuch and the attendants sought a priest. The priest feared terrible things would happen if anyone touched the foal python.
So it was left to lie there. It lay a whole week undisturbed. Even the ants of the earth did not go near it. But then the wonder was not over. At the end of an exact week, the python began to excrete, one after the other. Porcupine quills to the number of 30. That's done. The snake disappeared, never to be seen again.
In Kumasi, the king, the whisper said, agitated by the news, asked the priests what they understood by this portent. Not one of the priests opened their mouths to give a single explanation, though none of them was dumb. In all their eyes could be seen the shifting light of unwanted understanding. Who did not know it was forbidden to tell evil news to the king of Asante?
A story reached Kumasi from the choir. A pregnant goat had roamed all round the town for 3 days, uttering a loud and pitiful bleat why. The children pelted the goat with stones. The goat did not run, no. It turned round to look straight into their eyes. It looked at them as if it pitied them, like a mother sorrowing for her wayward children, losing themselves irretrievably despite all her care. The goat looked steadily at the children, and in plain view of everybody there, shed a tear. A tear, and turned away to go. Among the children, one boy who was active in the throwing of the stones, a nervous, active, small boy, began trembling, as if the shaking disease had been on him 3 days running.
As the boy stood shaking helplessly, it was a strange bird, starting with the legs. 2 legs appeared. But just a moment, maybe a hand, after the first bird, 2 more legs appeared. The head was expected, but it did not come. Instead, after a while, 2 more legs appeared, making 6.
The waters began to say, here was an animal made up of 2 joined together. But the whole kit descended, and it had only 1 head. A single goat with 6 legs. The beast lay wet and vulnerably on the sand beneath its mother. Then, before it was dry, it stood upon its legs, all 6 of them, and started to walk after its mother, quite placidly and slowly. The mother goat led the kid with 6 legs on a deliberate tour around the town center of Bekwai, staring straight into the eyes of all assembled. This way, the 2 animals went round the town center 3 times. And then, as if she had remembered something last, the mother lay down and suckled the monstrous kid. After the kid had drank its fill, it started to run. The mother went after it. They both disappeared into the bushes below the town, and no one ever saw them again.
Finally, there was the omen of the last days coming after all other stories and omens. Even if the stories of omens and portents reaching Kumasi were false, what happened in Kumasi itself, the capital city of Asante-Mine, founded under the kum tree by the great priest Anoche and named by him, what happened in Kumasi was true. It happened plainly for all to see, so there was not the slightest possibility of doubt. The kum tree, planted at the nation's bed, a tree supposed unshakable, huge, giant of all trees.
In the time before the Oyoko clan of the Asante became a force to be feared in the land, in that time before the Asante nation grew to be the greatest power in the land, in those beginning days, the founders did not know where to place the capital of the nation they had dreamed of. Here again, the genius Anoche was asked what ought to be done. Uncle Fanoche said 2 trees should be planted at each of the possible sites. The 2 kum trees were planted. One died.
Where it died, a small town grew. Kumewu. A home for some of the Asante cities, but not a home of homes. The other kum tree lived. It grew to become a giant among all the other trees. Mighty symbol, fitting symbol for the mighty Asante army. The tree stood in the center of the capital. The dire prophecy that said that the power of the kum tree was a sign that the Asante would fall. Now this tree had fallen in plain view of all the citizens of Kumasi, the capital.
Kumasi there, virgin one. Kumasi there, beautiful green one.
Kumasi there,
virgin one. Kumasi there, beautiful green one.
There had been no warning. No branches had dried up. No disease of bark or branch or root had given a single signal of impending decay. The great tree just fell off a sudden. It was as if a hand, enormous yet unseen, had plucked it off from the earth. And in great anger, dashed it against the stones of the ground.
A tree, falling even in a hurricane, breaks in a few pieces at most. Here, a branch twists itself. There, another splinters, and its joints hang from the pieces. But the kum tree did not fall like that. The great tree fell and was shattered into tiny pieces, 130 fragments. As if whatever force that brought it down was not content enough to break it, but wanted to pulverize it completely.
People had heard what had happened. At first, they didn't want to believe the news, so they made their way slowly to the site. There, they saw the incredible had indeed come to pass. So they moved on, with their tongues clinging to the roof of their mouth. Fear kept all who saw the kum tree from going close enough to touch it. The king called all the princes of Asante nation to come together. He charged them to tell him the news, even if it was bad news. What did this omen mean?
The whites have reached the soothing stream at Nyakumansi. They are now at the Puaso. Now, it is said that Wesley himself has left Cape Coast, traveling on the wide new road, heading for the Pua.
It means nothing. You know the whites. They always have a funny way of starting things they just can't finish.
Not at all. I've heard the scouts say that the white general is not returning and is expected to read the Pua on Friday.
He seems bent on coming.
So what do you suggest we do now? Should we prepare the warriors and move them into Praso?
No. I suggest we go and negotiate with them.
Yes.
Any other suggestions? Mampong. Kukufu. Juaben. Offenso.
Well, we should send an envoy with a letter that says the king seeks an audience with General Osei.
Get the court secretary to prepare the letter. Kranchisafo.
Nana.
Kwame Kweku.
Nana.
Kwame Owusu will deliver the letter to the general at Praso.
Yo, Nana.
When I look again, bow. My nephew's getting shorter, this can't be.
I go towards him with my arms stretched. Keeps sinking and low. Try to move fast, I can't reach him.
It's the words. The last part is the words. Slow, so slow.
Slow, so slow.
Next starts to go.
Next starts to go.
Ringing after ring.
Ringing after ring.
Mouth goes.
Mouth goes. Bill.
Swamp takes his nostrils.
The swamp takes his nostrils. His eyes staring at me. When it disappears completely, there is nothing, 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 not a ripple on the swamp.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for them again. This has been a combination of alumni and students of the School of Performing Arts in Legon. Also, Ebibi Groma and members of the National Symphony Orchestra. Let's give it up for them again. This has been a special commission, and ladies and gentlemen, this performance has been less than 2 weeks in preparation. So let's give it up to them again. They've really done well. As we said from the beginning, fact and fiction come together, and we have legend. We hope you enjoyed it. Shall we call up the adapter of this production? He's also the director. His handiwork is the piece in the middle, Dr. Ajiman Osei. Yeah, thank you very much. Is the cast ready to come again, or they're changing? Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for gracing the occasion. The week has been full of activities. There's still more to come. Let's keep attending all the events, and let's continue to celebrate our King. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jackson. I will invite Vodafone to come and do their presentation before we wrap up this evening's event. Vodafone Ghana. Please come. You were debating which of them to take. So you do your presentation. So who? Should I turn it, or I should turn it, and then I turn it?
Good evening to you all. So on behalf of the CEO of Vodafone Ghana, the management team, and the entire employees of Vodafone, we'd like to thank you very much for welcoming us to this August event. We appreciate our relationship with KNUST-TEK, and we appreciate the relationship we have with Ashanti. And so this is our token to support the Chancellor's Week. I mean, it was very short notice, but we always value our relationship. So just to say a big thank you, Nana. We have here 25,000 Ghana cedis.
Thank you.
Shall we take note of these announcements? Tomorrow will be day 3 of the celebration, and we're going to have the food fair. You are all invited to come. Come and take part in the tasting of the food in particular. As they say, all too soon, but I'm not too sure if it is all too soon. We've come to the end of this evening's event. My great-grandmother is said to have asked one of her grandsons to write a letter for her. And in the letter, she said, "Kacheri se esie eni keja eni aseda." And this guy was supposed to write it in English. Anyway, he did it. So after the letter, a cousin asked him, "Send us esie eni keja in English." I said, "Esie and keja have no thanks." Ladies and gentlemen, Nananom Vice Chancellor, Esie and Keja have no thanks. I will invite Reverend Dr. Champon to say the closing prayer to bring us to the end of this evening's event.
Please, let us pray. Our God and our Heavenly Father, we bless your name once again for bringing us to the end of this program, which marks the end of today's activities. It's been a long day, but by your grace and your mercies, you have kept and sustained us. We thank you very much for all that went into preparation for this evening's program in particular. And we thank you for all the knowledge and the entertainment we have had regarding Asanteman. I want to thank you, O God, once again for this occasion of commemorating 20 years of reign of our great King. We continue to be thankful to you for all that you have used him to do, and we hope you're going to continue to use him to do. As we retire from here, we commend ourselves to you, asking that you will replenish all our energies and refresh us, so that we'll be able to continue with the activities slated for tomorrow and the next day. Please carry all of us on your eagle wings to our various destinations safely, and give us good night rest, so that we'll continue to praise and honor your name. This and many more blessings do we ask through Christ Jesus our Lord. Amen.
As we usually do, please keep standing for our dignitaries to leave us before we follow them. Nananom Vice Chancellor will lead and then will follow. Shall we have lights in the hall, please? Thank you very much and good night.
Nana,
Amen.